Sacred Witness, Part 2, by Enric Milrus. I did not come here to hire the Brotherhood, I said respectfully. Then why are you here? The Night Mother asked, her eyes never leaving mine. I told her I wanted to know about her. I did not expect an answer to that, but she told me. I do not mind the stories you writers dream up about me, she chuckled. Some of them are very amusing and some of them are good for business. I like the sexy dark woman lounging on the divan in Carlerick Townway's fiction particularly. The truth is that my history would not make a very dramatic tale. I was a thief long, long ago, back when the Thieves' Guild was only beginning. It's such a bother to sneak around the house when performing a burglary, and many of us found it most efficacious to strangle the occupant of the house, just for convenience. I suggested to the guilds that a segment of our order be dedicated to the arts and sciences of murder. It did not seem like such a controversial idea to me, the Night Mother shrugged. We had specialists in cat burglary, pickpocketing, lockpicking, fencing, all the other essential parts of the job. But the guild thought that encouraging murder would be bad for business. Too much, they argued. They might have been right, the old woman continued. But I discovered there's a profit to be made, just the same, from sudden deaths. Not only can one rob the deceased, but if your victim has enemies, which rich people often do, you can be paid for it even more. I began to murder people differently when I discovered that. After I strangled them, I would put 2 stones in their eyes, one black and one white. Why? I asked. It was sort of a calling card of mine. You're a writer. Don't you want your name on your books? I couldn't use my name, but I wanted potential clients to know me and my work. I don't do it anymore. No need to. But at the time it was my signature. Word spread and I soon had quite a successful business. And that became the Morak Tong, I asked. Oh dear me, no, the Night Mother smiled. The Morak Tong was around long before my time. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. I merely hired on some of their assassins when they began to fall apart after the murder of the last potentate. They did not want to be members of the Tong anymore, and since I was the only other murder syndicate of any note, they just joined on. I phrased my next question carefully. Will you kill me now that you've told me all this? She nodded sadly, letting out a little grandmotherly sigh. You are such a nice, polite young man. I hate to end our acquaintanceship. I don't suppose you would agree to a concession or two in exchange for your life, would you? To my everlasting shame, I did agree. I said I would say nothing about our meeting, which, as the reader can see, was a promise I eventually, years later, chose not to keep. Why have I endangered my life thus? Because of the promises I did keep. I helped the Night Mother and the Dark Brotherhoods in acts too despicable, too bloody for me to set to paper. My hand quivers as I think about the people I betrayed, beginning with that night. I tried to write my poetry, but ink seemed to turn to blood. Finally, I fled, changing my name, going to a land where no one would know me. And I wrote this, the true history of the Night Mother, from the interview she gave me on the night we met. It will be the last thing I ever write, this I know, and every word is true. Pray for me. Editor's note. Though originally published anonymously, the identity of the author has never been in serious doubt. Any layman familiar with the work of the poet Enric Milres will recognize sacred witness' familiar cadence and style in such books of his as The Alekir. Shortly after publication, Milres was murdered and his killer was never found. He had been strangled and 2 stones, a black one and a white one, crushed into his eye sockets, very brutally.